I can already see a lot of fan art being made from this character. I mean, her overall design, to just the voice acting, her persona she gave off, like her aura, throughout this episode of Kimetsu no Yaiba, I definitely sense a lot of people falling in love with her character. I highly doubt the character is going to probably be around for a long time, because looking at these two individuals, like the 12 Demon Moons that were introduced, the whole concept of it, it is possible they could stick around for a while, like get out and leave, but overall though, I do think that the two characters are probably going to be officially defeated, and we're going to move on to new characters, the next part of the 12 Demon Moons. So I don't think this said character is going to live, but even then though, in terms of design and all that, I just think many are going to like the character. So, there's a couple things I want to talk about, which actually piqued my interest. If you have been around for a while, like, watching my videos, and you know what I'm kind of into, then you're going to kind of expect that I really love mythology. I love diving into mythology, learning about different gods and stuff like that. It's fascinating. It's just really fascinating to see stuff like that, like Norse mythology, and all that. And when you look at the character that was introduced in this episode, when we got the full-on fight with, seeing Tanjiro go up against her, and then our other characters go up against her, she had multiple arms that popped out, 6 arms, and many will probably instantly start thinking of something from Mortal Kombat. I know that it's fresh in everybody's mind since Mortal Kombat, like the newest one, came out very recently, and so it's fresh in everybody's minds. Everybody's going to probably make Mortal Kombat references to this character. However, I feel like there is a major reason why the character has 6 arms, and I decided to kind of look into it a little bit because, like I said, I like mythology. I was actually already aware of a few things when it comes to multi-armed mythological creatures, and one that comes to mind is Asura, or Kali. If you ever heard of the Hindu goddess Kali, then you know who I'm talking about. Basically, Kali is someone that symbolized as death itself, and she always had like this necklace of heads wrapped around her and all that. She had 6 arms as well, and some depictions of her. And going deeper into Hindu mythology, I found out about Asura, and this term Asura will definitely pique everybody's interest, because it's something I think everybody has heard in some shape or form when it comes to battle shonen. I mean, when you think of, One Piece, we have it mentioned as well. So, I mean, it's definitely not a term I think many are uncommon with. Like, you've all probably heard it maybe one term or another of Asura, like in some form of series. So, seeing the character design with her having 6 arms, and I looked up the definition of what Asura was. Asura is an evil spirit demon. That's what it's characterized. It's like an evil spirit / demon. And when you think about what Tanjiro was fighting, he was fighting a demon or evil spirit. So it's pretty cool just to see the references that the writer made with this character. It's a little bit in depth actually, and it makes me start to wonder a few things, because I wonder if this is going to be an ongoing theme. Like, for instance, Asuras are going to represent the 12 Demon Moons. I mean, when we think about the previous demon, like the last real major fight that Tanjiro had, which was in the selection, we had this demon that was surrounded by arms, by a bunch of arms. And obviously there's a way more arms than like what's depicted maybe in Asura's, like 6 to 8 arms or something. But it's still interesting that arms are really starting to play a theme here when it comes to demons, and I'm kind of curious if that will be an ongoing theme, for instance, like Asura is being used, but like I said, I could be wrong there. It just, I have noticed some similarities in that regard. But okay, dropping that for now though, because I know many probably don't care too much about that, but it's just cool to me. Let's get right into what this episode's about. So, in terms of demon art abilities that were introduced in this episode, they're definitely unique, definitely different, and definitely not entirely, like, stereotypical. Like, when we look at how the character fights the girl with 6 arms, at first I thought she was able to freely control the balls and all that, like how they were going through the air and all that and going around, changing, their direction and hitting Tanjiro. I thought she was the one that was doing it. Come to find out, it's actually the other kid that's with her, navigating the balls in a certain direction to where they will follow Tanjiro. And so, it makes me wonder, what is her ability. It's not really stated, at least I don't think it was very obvious. The only thing I got from it is that she has 6 arms, and I'm assuming she's just very strong, physically strong. That's what I'm assuming. I could be wrong there, but I don't think she's really demonstrated her overall ability like what we saw from the other demons throughout, this episode. Like when you look at the other demon that Tanjiro started fighting in the second half, he was someone that was able to create these arrows that would force you to move in a certain direction, which on paper, it doesn't seem like it's too crazy, but in reality, it's pretty strong. It's a really strong ability because, like, there was a moment in the episode to where the arrow wrapped completely around Tanjiro's arm, and if Tanjiro wouldn't have had quick thinking to spin and do a flip and all that, and he didn't have his training, like his physical training, to be able to do stuff like that, his arm would have been twisted completely off, and this could happen to any part of his body. Like, imagine if the arrows would have wrapped around his entire torso, his neck, you get the point. The point there is that the ability, like it's on paper, doesn't seem strong, but when you actually see it used in the episode, it's pretty crazy. Like, it's crazy strong. And Tanjiro had to fight an opponent that basically was sending out immovable objects towards him. Once it hit him, there was nothing he could do. Like, the example that we saw when the fight first began was when he was trying to get close and he saw the thread to where he could finish through, like the weak point, which has always been how Tanjiro's taken down his opponents. He saw it, he was going for it, and the dude sent an arrow out, which made Tanjiro just slide backwards, and he missed his cut. This shows 2 major things. Number 1, it shows that even if Tanjiro can see the thread to where he has to strike, it does not mean necessarily that he automatically wins. That was something that this episode definitely wanted to clarify. I mean, it was kind of obvious if you kind of think about it, but it's good just to see visual representation that even if Tanjiro sees the weak point, it doesn't mean that he can necessarily hit it. If the abilities of the demons are very unique and just keep throwing him away from it. So that was cool. I do like that clarification. But the second point is that in his middle of the strike, when he thinks it's about to happen, he got pulled away. And the way he got pushed back was pretty strong too, because there was nothing he could do besides slide backwards, and every time he tried to attack the arrow, he would be slung that direction as well. So he couldn't hit the arrow to stop it. Like, let's say it's coming straight at him, and when he, backs up and he slashes it, trying to cut it in half, it doesn't do that. It just bends a little bit, and it keeps going the same direction and pushes him along with it. And we saw this demonstrated. It showed that the ability is strong, and with the demon that was using that with the other demon that was able to throw the balls real quickly, that is a great combo, which this is also something that is very important that I liked that was showcased in this episode, is that when it comes to the 12 demon moons at the very least, they're probably going to be groups of them. They're probably going to work together. And this is something that's always bugged me in shonen, or any series, honestly, when it comes to anime or manga, is that when you have, like, let's say, a group of enemies that are introduced, like, let's say, the Notorious 5 or something, I'm just throwing out a random name, the point is that usually it's a 1v1 fight, or it's like, our main characters, like 5 of our main characters versus 1 dude or 1 female, that's usually what it is. But I'm glad to see that the villains are actually teaming up, using their abilities together to fight Tanjiro. That is something I appreciate, because I don't like it how it's always just such an unfair fight. Even if the opponent, the villain, is incredibly strong, I still don't like it when just the odds are stacked against him. I do like to see teamwork, seeing unity amongst the demons, and seeing the 2 demons work together with their powers. I gotta say, I like that, even if it wasn't perfect, because once you take out one of them, it kind of falls flat unless there's some surprises that the 6-armed demon is going to show us. But once, one of them gets taken out, mainly the boy with arrows, it's over for the other one, because once they gang up on her, it's over. So yeah, I do think that this does showcase that there probably is going to be more fights going on in the future to where the demons are going to work together. I'm excited for that, because I want more of that. That is something that I really love from JoJo. Like, if you think about the latest part of JoJo Part 5, every, major fight we've gotten into recently in the arc, no spoilers, don't worry, no spoilers, it's just, you have it to where the villains have a partner, and they're working together to take down our main cast of characters. I love that. So, more of that. I do hope that this writer continues that record like what he's doing with this arc, and we see that going forward. So, getting into the, let's get into what happened in Nezuko. So Nezuko, she tried to knock the ball back, which this is something that definitely demonstrated the power of the 6th-armed demon, is that regardless without the arrows, the overall physical strength of her throw would easily just remove a limb. And when Nezuko tried to kick the ball back, it just removed her leg instantly. It obliterated it. And so, you cannot necessarily grab these high velocity balls coming straight towards you. You have to dodge, unless you have some ridiculous strength or you're able to regen. Thankfully, Nezuko can regen, but we kind of find out that Nezuko's regenerative abilities isn't really that high. We've seen her kind of heal in the past, but this is the first true time we've seen her get truly injured like she did in this episode, and we know that she is very different from a normal demon. She has not consumed human blood, at least from what we're aware of, and she has had to take naps, like long rest, to be able to heal up and be able to function. And so it makes you wonder, with her losing her leg, how long is she going to have to rest after this? Because if her resting is going to be the way she heals, it's going to take a long while for her to heal. And just the amount of blood loss at that is probably going to be really painful for her, make her even hungrier. So this is just, it's dangerous. The more and more I see of Nezuko trying to fight, it puts her in a position where just more danger pops up. Because if we could assume that the weaker she gets, where, you know, she goes unconscious, she probably gets hungry. And if she gets hungrier and hungrier and it builds up, then obviously she's going to want to, you know, devour someone, like her brother. So that is the problem here. So I do wonder how that's going to be addressed, which, by the way, we also have the Doctor Demon that has this vial. She said that she could have Nezuko instantly heal her leg if she injects her with it, but I have a bad feeling that whatever is going to happen to Nezuko is going to have a negative effect. Because, once again, even though she is able to lower the amount of blood they need, Nezuko is obviously different, and if she tries to force Nezuko to heal completely, either A, it's going to put her in, like, a long period of sleep, or it's going to make her just go berserk state, to where she's not going to know anything and just start attacking everyone. I just have a feeling that something like that might happen. I could be wrong, but it feels like that, because of just how we were left on that scene in the middle of this episode. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's a good episode. It did a good job introducing the main opponents that Tanjiro is going to have to fight, the 12 Demon Moons. And I can't wait to see where it's going to go. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.